Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. It's me and James today, and we're in the same place.
Yep.
This is weird, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we're sitting on a very small stool together, so that's why we're really cozy. But we're going to be talking about day 2 of the second Ashes Test, day 1 and day 2, because we couldn't do a podcast yesterday, and it's quite well balanced, I'd say.
Yeah.
England gave away 4 wickets. Sort of just in the middle of the day. Not especially great bowling from either side, really. I'd say England came back all right day 2 morning. But yesterday, let's just quickly talk about that, because it was all Australia's batters and none of England's bowlers, bar sort of tongue and root.
Yeah. I think the match is poised in a really good place at the moment. I think England were obviously disappointed after day 1. Joe Root said in like an interview with Nasser Hussain before day 2's play, saying he was disappointed with how England did. And I think the main thing is because England chose to bowl first, and to only get 5 wickets on a day 1 at Lords where it was perfect swinging conditions with a green surface. You got to make the most of those conditions, and they didn't. However, they did in day 2. They made the most of that first half hour, and really got into the Australian batsmen, and that was great to see. But for me, the pick of England's bowlers was Josh Tongue, whose first 3 Ashes wickets are Khawaja, Warner, and Steve Smith. That's not bad, is it?
That's pretty special. And he was the biggest question mark I had.
Yeah.
Of all the seamers, I was like, well, I get why. I can understand it. But yeah, he was by far the most potent.
Yeah.
He was getting the most movement out of the pitch. And a word on Ollie Robinson, who, for my money, he burgled 3 wickets, bowling sort of mid 70 miles an hour. It was shocking. Just how he looked unfit. He genuinely just didn't look in shape. He didn't look like he was fit to bowl. And I think there were plenty of other options that England could have bowled. Thoughts on Joe Root as the sole spinner?
Yeah, well, he was the only one who didn't bowl a no ball. No, I thought Joe Root bowled quite well. He's not quite good enough to be an all rounder, like a batsman who bowls spin, but he's better than a part timer. I would say. Like he's got quite a few Test wickets. He's got over 50 Test wickets. I'm pretty sure. Maybe he hasn't. I don't know. But he's not a mug when it comes to bowling. I mean, Travis Head was bowling today because of Lyon's injury, and he's much better than Travis Head. But yeah, I think Joe Root can provide a good role, and I think he did well to get 2 wickets there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did well there. However, I think Australia scoring 416, despite England playing very well, I still thought they were at least 50 runs too many on that, given the first day's conditions. But when England came out to bat, they got that momentum by taking those 5 wickets, and the conditions were great for them. I mean, Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett, that opening partnership, it's something that we've been crying out for a long time. And over this last year, they've just proven themselves to be good. And Zach Crawley, for me, he's not a question mark anymore. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that.
I think Brendan McCullum's going to be fuming, because he said that Zach Crawley is not in to be a consistent player. And this is the 3rd match that he's been either 50 or close to 50. So
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I think he's going to get dropped for that reason. But yeah, no, it was a very good opening stand. I think it was 91, the opening partnership. And it was only broken because Zach Crawley decided to run down a pitch to a very innocuous delivery. And that's kind of the story of England's batting. Was it was going well, got a great start, and then just contrived a way to get out. And it's really interesting the way that England batted, and the way that Stokes has batted as well. Because Duckett got out pulling a very tame bouncer to David Warner. And it's worth noting that not a single pull or hook was timed well. Really, they were all just dropping short fielders. He was honestly lucky to get to 98. He should have gone out about 70. Pope again, went out hooking, and Joe Root went out pulling. He went out twice, but one was a no ball. None of them were dangerous deliveries at all.
No, and saying that, I do think that Australia bowled quite a few accurate short balls, but they kind of employed the tactics that England have used on a number of times over the last the last 2 years really, where they just tried to bump out batsmen when nothing's going for them. So I think given the way England are playing that aggressive style of cricket, they were going to lose at least 2 wickets playing in that way, which they did. Ben Duckett, a bit unfortunate because he ran 2 and then I think it was running the second run, and Marnus Labuschagne threw the ball in from the deep, and Ben Duckett noticed that there were no fielders behind him, behind the stumps. No one was backing up, and the ball hit the stumps. And if they had missed the stumps, Ben Duckett would have got a century, and then like an over later he gets out. So it's a bit unfortunate for Duckett. However, I think he's played very well, and he should be very happy with his contribution to the team. And it's allowed England to get up to 278 for 4. And you said something about England playing quite interestingly, and they definitely have. They've shown the way that Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes want them to play, which is that they were aggressive and they showed that positive intent. And then when they lost a wicket, they absorbed the pressure and then went back at them. So when Zach Crawley went out, for example, Ben Duckett and Ollie Pope composed themselves. Then they lost a wicket. Joe Root, Ollie Pope, Ben Duckett composed themselves, and then Joe Root got out, obviously. But then I thought the way Harry Brook and Ben Stokes batted at the end of the day was really solid, and I'm looking forward to watching back tomorrow.
Yeah, and hopefully Harry Brook turns this start into a big score, because that's definitely what England need. Like, still trailing by a lot. But I thought the way Ben Stokes batted was really interesting.
Yeah.
Because Australia set a very, very obvious short ball field. Everybody was either square or behind square. I don't think there was a single fielder apart from the bowler in front of square.
They almost had 3 behind square at once.
Yeah. It was obvious what they were doing.
Yeah.
And England were taking the bait. And with Nathan Lyon injured, Australia just have the seamers now. So it's very obvious that they're going to bowl bouncers, but they're only seamers, and they're bowling, 90 odd miles an hour, some of them. Yeah. So it's not sustainable forever.
No.
What England could have done, and what Ben Stokes did, was let them do it.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Stokes was almost showing that it's still bazball to leave, because you're playing with your brain as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I think Stokes needed to remind his team that just because they're bowling bouncers and they've set a field, to bouncers, doesn't mean you need to start hooking and playing to their plans and being like, oh yeah, well, we're England, we can do it. You can still use your head.
Yeah.
And that's what Stokes did. And I'm glad, because I think England needed to hear that from somebody.
Yeah. And I think it's been good to watch that sort of play, because it shows that England aren't just all gung-ho. Like, if Stokes had given his wicket away and scored, he's on 17. If he'd have scored 17 off 10 and then got out, then it would have put a lot more pressure on Johnny Bairstow, especially with England's longish tail. Like, Stuart Broad's due to come in at 8, Ollie Robinson at 9. I mean, I reckon they're both number 9 batters. We don't have a solid number 8. So yeah, I think it was sensible of Stokes. But I also really enjoyed how they just applied themselves against Australia's bowlers. It was really, really good application to see. However, in the situation of the test match, England trailing by 138 runs, we could see some pretty bold moves from Stokes now, knowing that Nathan Lyon isn't bowling.
Yeah.
Because if Nathan Lyon is ruled out of this test match, then Stokes could declare a bit earlier, so that there's time in the game for England to bowl out Australia. Because England will think, with Nathan Lyon gone, we can chase about 100 more in the 4th innings. That's the sort of mindset. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some aggressive plays. Nathan Lyon he looked very injured.
Yeah.
Maybe that was one. I don't want to say it was a plus to Ben Duckett's terrible pulling, but if Ben Duckett had middled it, he would have gone out and Nathan Lyon wouldn't be injured.
Yeah, true.
But because Nathan Lyon had to make such a long sprint to such a poorly timed shot, he ended up like pulling a calf or something. He definitely didn't like he was comfortable at all. So I think it's pretty safe to say he's going to be ruled out of the series. And yeah, I think we will see some questionable declaration from England at some point.
2 from 2.
I think what I'm expecting is Brook and Stokes to get us close to Australia's total, and then just rely on the tail swinging
and Bairstow
to get us to a lead of some sort.
Yeah.
But absolutely no guarantees. Australia could come back firing tomorrow. Depends completely on the conditions as well. But it was pretty tame bowling overall, and England just kind of gifted 4 wickets. But as far as who's kind of feeling better at this stage, I'd say it's very, very even.
Oh yeah.
I'd say Australia have more right to be comfortable right now because they have the runs on the board and they have 4 big wickets in the shed.
Yeah.
But it's a big balance to be struck, and it could completely swing either way tomorrow.
Yeah. For me, ENGvAUS is quite a good. It doesn't necessarily say for certain who's going to win, but it kind of gives you a good idea of what the stage of the game is and who the momentum's with. And the whole day, well, since England has started batting, it's been pretty much 50-50 as to who's going to win. The draw is on the cards, especially if Australia bat for a long time. I mean, Stephen Smith looks in very good form. He made a very, very good century. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting test match. Can't wait. See what happens.
Yeah.
Two test matches in a row like this is, it's great for the game. It's great for our podcast as well. So make sure you continue to watch because we're going to bring you all our reviews and analysis from these games. Also, make sure you subscribe, follow us on social media. The link tree is in the description. Like our podcasts. Means a lot. And I think that's everything. So, see you guys later.